Good morning.
Good
Um,
morning.
yeah. So would you please just briefly introduce yourself and describe your background at EMU, your major, why you chose it, when you graduated, and that sort of stuff?
My name is Ariel. Hello. Thanks for having me here. I graduated at Eastern with my bachelor's in biochemistry, and I had a minor in human biology. And then after that, I went on to get my master's also at Eastern and in cell and molecular biology. And that's when I joined Dr. Liebman's lab, where we studied, I was doing research on protein expression of an enzyme in E. coli that is making these substrates to make a component of the cell wall glucomannan. And so in his lab, I learned a bunch of different techniques and did a bunch of structural and functional characterization of the enzyme and had a really great experience.
And so when did you graduate undergrad?
Undergrad was 2016, I
Okay,
think, and then master's 2018.
got it. Yeah. Gosh, doesn't seem like it was that long ago. How could this be true?
Right?
So you recently promoted from a position that you had occupied a while at your job, but maybe you can tell us a little bit about your current position and also the position that you just vacated to take this new position, and
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, maybe a little bit about your job and career path.
Yeah, yeah. So currently I work at BioRad. So we are a life science company. We make instruments, we make kits. You probably have seen them in your academic research lab. I know when I was an undergrad, I would always see BioRad everywhere. Like it's basically like all of the green instruments. In at BioRad, currently I was promoted to a product manager position, but previously I was working as a marketing application scientist as part of a market development team. And so as a marketing application scientist, I work with the commercial team, so the sales team, to understand what scientists in academic labs need and how we can provide those solutions for them. And my role is specifically to generate data. So I work mainly in the lab to provide data so then I can help bring solutions to our customers. In this position, I wear many hats. I also see clients, go to customer sites and help troubleshoot, do demos of our instruments. I go to conferences and talk to all researchers all the time, um, go on calls. And so we also do writing for all of the data that we generated. So we make application notes, white pages, protocols, um, and we put them on our website.
Wow, so it sounds like you do a ton of different things. Does your position involve much travel?
Not a ton. So I would say maybe about 20% of my role involves traveling because for the most part, it's still a lab-based role.
Cool. What are some things that you like best about the job that you have?
The marketing applications job.
Sure, that
Okay.
one.
So yeah, I would say that I probably could talk more about the marketing applications job because that's a job that I've had for 4 years or so. The product manager role that I have right now, I am very new to this job. I would say about a month so experience that I have. But as a marketing application scientist, I love that the job is very dynamic. I'm not just in the lab all the time. Sometimes I am in the lab, sometimes I'm writing, sometimes I'm traveling and talking to different scientists, sometimes I am in conferences. I get to meet a lot of people. Part of my job too is to find different creative ways to kind of put our products together to find solution. And so because of that, I get to learn all of the other instruments that our company offers. And I get to meet a lot of the different people, different scientists that are experts in those different instruments. And so I get to learn about what they do. I get to connect with people. I get to collaborate a lot. And that's something that I really enjoy.
That's awesome. Maybe you could tell us something that you didn't know about your job or career path that you wish you would have known before you started?
I would say when I was in undergrad, I didn't know what to do with my degree, which is why I went on to get my master's. I graduated and I was like, what kind of job should I get? And then I found out about the graduate teaching assistantship at Eastern, which financially supported my master's and also gave me stipend to help out with living expenses. And so I figured, why not do that? Because I love the science. I love the the experiences I had with my undergraduate research, and I just like wanted to continue on with it. And then when I graduated with my master's, that's when I got my job at Wayne State University because I had a friend who also went to Eastern, Jasmine, who worked there, and I joined her lab. I think I was figuring things out on my own, one step at a time. But I think things like this initiative where I get to see all the different career paths that are available to me is something that I would have benefited from, because having an undergraduate degree in biology, I wanted to work in the lab, but I didn't know that it's something that I could do for a living. I thought it was just like something that you would do in school to learn.
You might have benefited from it and now you're contributing. So that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, exactly.
Appreciate
So
that.
happy to do this.
Yeah. So you kind of touched on this before. If you have what you consider sort of a typical, and I'm using big air quotes around typical workday, what might it look like for you? Like when do you get there? When do you leave? What do you do in between?
So on a typical work day, say it's an experiment day, because I think they go on phases, right? So you would have like a phase where you're just doing a bunch of experiments, but then the way that the role works is that we have several different projects that are kind of like running simultaneously. And in some of those projects, they're in the experiment phase, and some projects are in the writing phase. And so you kind of balance out your day where if I have an experiment planned for the day, I have an incubation period, maybe I'll go take a meeting, talk to a customer, or maybe do some writing, present my work. Yeah, so non-travel days would probably typically be like that.
You also kind of touched upon this a little bit, but maybe you could elaborate a bit about the path to your current position. So, like you mentioned that you were at Wayne State for a while, so maybe you can elaborate a little bit about that. But, what sort of additional education and training did you have after you graduated with your undergraduate degree, and what other experiences were helpful in preparing you for this?
I would say that with my undergraduate and master's degrees, they gave me a really good foundation to cell and molecular biology, really. So all of the lectures that I've taken, but in addition to that, all of the lab work that I've taken has been really great and has been really helpful with my current position. So with my undergraduate degree, I was in an undergraduate research lab with Dr. Hesley. It was in inorganic chemistry, and then for my master's, I was with Dr. Liepman, which was in cell and molecular biology. I had instrumentation class with Dr. Guthrie, which I was exposed to a bunch of different different instrumentation. I did analytical chemistry, and I think directly and indirectly, all of those classes have been really instrumental in getting my foundation into where my current role is. And so when I graduated with my master's degree, I had a job at Wayne State where I was part of the perinatology research lab. It is a lab that is studying the reproductive different tissues in like pregnant women because we are studying the biology of parturition and pregnancy, specifically in the pathological condition of preterm birth, preeclampsia. COVID was a thing because I started there in 2020. And so in the single cell genomics unit, we were doing single cell RNA sequencing of different reproductive tissues of pregnant women and non-pregnant women to understand the immunological mechanisms that are underlying these pathological conditions. And so because of my experience in this single cell technology, that opened up that opportunity for my marketing application scientist role at BioRad to support our single cell portfolio. And then because of my experience now in the single cell portfolio and understanding our product portfolio at BioRad, I was given the opportunity to continue on to be a product manager and now understand the product life cycle and be part of the decision making process of how a product would go from an idea to go into this research and development phase to when it goes to the market, how to grow the product, how to sustain it, and how to improve it.
That's really cool. I mean, definitely paint like a really interesting picture about your pathway and how, one thing led to another. And
Mhm.
it isn't like it just happened, right? You saw opportunities and you had skills and expertises that you could contribute and, one thing grew into another. So that's really neat. And now I know who to go to if I need a really new specialized machine for my lab. I can
Yeah.
say, "Hey, Ariel,
I-
I need this weird thing." And you'll say, "Nobody else will want that." So no. So, looking in the longer term, what kind of long term and career and life goals do you see ahead of you?
Right now, I enjoy being part of the product marketing team. I enjoy the work that I'm doing. As I've mentioned, I am very new to this product management role. And so this is something that I want to keep exploring. I do enjoy that this is also a position that wears many different hats, which is something that I enjoy because to me, it keeps me entertained. I like talking to different groups. I like collaborating. I like, working with different people. And I think this is something that I would enjoy long term.
That's awesome. So, thinking about your classes that you took at Eastern, were there any that kind of stand out as being most useful to you in terms of like getting you ready to do what you're doing?
Yeah. Cell and molecular biology. So cell biology lecture, and I think cell and molecular, which was with I think Dr. Winning, cell and molecular biology lab, which I think was taught by you, were very, very instrumental. Genetics course was also very important. Recombinant DNA techniques also love that class. I think because not only did it give me like the foundation that I needed for my job, but also just the building up on the critical thinking, the problem solving, and working with other people. I think those are have been foundational to my career path.
Awesome. So, if you had pieces of advice that you could offer to Eastern students or undergraduate students who are kind of seeking a career in your field or just seeking a career in general.
I would say explore your options early. I think the earlier that you see what you have and not just staying kind of like tunnel vision on one thing, unless you're really passionate about that, I think will really help you understand what you would want to do later on. In my career path, I think specifically because I work in the lab and I do experiments, some experiments don't always, a lot of experiments almost always don't go as planned. And so I have learned that failure is not a waste of time. I learn a lot from them. And I think that's something that I can also apply in life. And being comfortable with not knowing things. And when you're communicating that, being honest with and comfortable with saying that you don't know things has gotten me where I am, I think.
Yeah, that's really good advice. I think all of those things. And I think, another thing that's coming through in your interview that maybe you didn't just say, but also, beyond exploring opportunities, like going after them, right? Getting involved in research is a thing. You were thinking that was something that could be helpful as a student, and it has been, but you had to go and get those opportunities too, and you did.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
are there any other tidbits that you like to share or questions that I didn't ask that you think would be helpful for me to ask?
I think the only other tidbit I think is like making connection too. I think that's something that I think it's underrated, but a lot of the opportunities come up to when you're just talking to people. And you just like never know, right? Like talking to one person can lead you to the next opportunity that you have. And is just like something that that doesn't come often, but like as long as you have that mindset that building connections, building relationship is like always a good thing. It could always like get you further in life as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, networking is super important. And yeah, you never know when you might need to phone that friend or they might phone you, right? And
Exactly.
yeah, there's been so many examples in my career too, where just seemingly random things have led to, mushroomed into such bigger things. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, absolutely. Your network is critical for,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, for making it in the
Yeah.
world, in the career, all of that. So yeah, build a team.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I feel like in all of the positions that I've had, they all didn't happen organically. I got the job at Wayne State because I had a colleague at Eastern, and then I got the job at BioRad because interestingly, the hiring manager knew somebody at Wayne State, and that's how they found out about me. And so the hiring process went smoothly because there was a connection that was made early on in the interview process. And again, this promotion that I've had it because of all the connections that I've made in my previous position as a marketing application scientist. So everything, well, I think it's not like explicitly said, but I think a lot of it has been through networking and the connections that were made.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that that is a huge part of it, and I'm sure also it's that you're awesome, so that they want to, these things don't happen just because of your network. It's you contribute something too, so you're very modest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I'm sure that the students will really enjoy watching this and learn a lot from what you got to say.
Of course. Thank you for doing this. I think this is really great. I know, like I mentioned, I wish this is something that I would have seen when I was in undergrad, and I'm happy to help other undergraduate students as well.